Welcome back, everyone. Back to Freaky Fast Broadcasting here with the Evolution Racing Leagues and the RSR Cup Series as the round of 8 finale race takes place here at the Dover 130, presented to you by Sheffield Graphics. And what a night we have in store here at the Dover International Speedway. We already seen in the RC Series earlier a great battle all the way down to the end of points. Some fuel mileage coming out to play down to the end. We'll have to see how that all shakes out in the race here tonight. But first, let's give a shout out to all these sponsors who help make it happen here at the Evolution Racing Leagues and Freaky Fast Broadcasting. First, we got Ord Nissan Central, the leading Nissan dealership in Oklahoma City. You can go check them out at their website at ordnissancentral.com. Next, we have Sheffield Graphics, the leading designer in sim racing paint schemes and liveries. It was founded by a Navy veteran, and a portion of every paint goes to the Military Foundation Bolts of Honor. It's a great non-profit organization who gives sponsorship to families of fallen soldiers and disabled veterans. Make sure to check them out on Facebook under Sheffield Graphics. And tonight's race is brought to you by Sheffield Graphics, so shout out to them for that. As we move on to our next sponsor of ButtKicker, as every game deserves a truly immersive experience. The ButtKicker Gamer 2 lets you feel every detail, from the subtle footsteps to the rumble of a V10 powered race car. By moving a physical mass instead of only air, the Gamer 2 provides instant, accurate, powerful base response, and it's all perfectly in sync with every game with no additional software required. So make sure you head on to their website at ButtKicker.com, and you can use our promo code of FreakyFast20 to get 20% off any purchase there at their website. And last but not least, let's give a shout to the Maconi Setup Shop, the home for iRacing setups and the official setup shop of the Richmond Raceway Esports team. With everything from legends to cup cars, we've got you covered. Dirt setups for late models, modifieds, wing sprints are available as well. Coaching with professional drivers such as eNASCAR Coca-Cola Irish Series champion Zach Novak, his teammate Jimmy Mullis, River Hayes, and many more also available. And remember, at the McConey Setup Shop, there are setups, but they're your victories. You can head on over to our website at McConeySetupShop.com today, where you can use the promo code FFB10 to get 10% off of any purchase there at the McConey Setup Shop. And we also have a giveaway going on for a free coaching lesson at the McConey Setup Shop for a driver of their choice. So go out there, hit up that link, and enter the giveaway, and you can win yourself some coaching lessons from the McConey Setup Shop. But thank you to all the sponsors here tonight. I'm Zach Hall up in the booth, as I am joined by Brandon Colley. We'll have Robert Moore Jr. up in the production box. Brandon back here with the Cup Series at Dover, my friend. Right now in the qualifying times, it looks like Hunter Hayward up top. He's not one of our playoff contenders, but Ryan Beam, one of the guys right on the cut line there in second. It's going to get very interesting once this green flag drops.
Yeah, I mean, it's looking at the points, we're kind of in the same situation we saw in the Arc Evolution Series just a little while ago. I mean, GT and Andrew Little, the two drivers inside that cutoff line to make the Final Four that have not yet won and are not yet locked in. I mean, GT in the third position right now, only 3 points up on Andrew Little. But like you talked about, Ryan Beam sitting second on the board right now, only 4 points back from Andrew Little. Nathan Campbell, 20 points back. Kevin Ruff going to be 35 and James Catrone 45. So Kevin Ruff and James Catrone looking like they're in a must-win position here. Nathan Campbell, realistically, if he has a good race here, can get great stage points and maybe a little bit of luck and some issues from some of these other guys, might be able to point his way in without a win here. We're going to be trying to keep up with that as much as possible. Got stuff we're going to be doing in the background to try to keep up with the points as they happen here to give you guys the best feedback that we can. But there's going to be a lot to pay attention to. I mean, they've got 3 sets of tires in the pits, the 2 stages at 30 and then 60 that are going to tick off in a hurry. Tires going to be very important at the end of this race. I imagine we're going to see quite a lot of guys decide not to take tires during this first stage and risk having that set for the end of the race here. Because if you get a late caution and you've got a set of tires in the pits that you can throw on, you are going to come out looking like a superhero charging to the front. It's going to get really exciting by the end of this thing.
That it will, and qualifying has come to the end here. It looks like Hunter Hayward in the 48 will be your Sheffield Graphics pole winner. So congrats to him on there for putting down that 21.83 to put him up atop the board as he led practice and led qualifying. So that 48 looking strong out here at Dover. That's what we're looking to pull up our starting grid here to show where your favorite drivers will be starting tonight. As there it is, Hunter Hayward on that Sheffield Graphics pole. Second's going to go to Ryan Bean right there on the edge of that cut line, 5th in points, trying to get his way in. Trevor Massetti there in the 3rd position. Curtis Preston in 4th, locked into next week's Final Four. 5th's going to go to James Catrone. He's going to have to win this race tonight. 6th's going to be Harold Walker. 7th, Kevin Rupp. 8th's going to be Travis Everett. 9th's going to be GT Rosari. And rounding out your top 10 is Andrew Little in the 10th position.
Bob Fitzpatrick Jr. in the 11th position. Chad Biesinger in 12th. Nathan Campbell 13th. Ryan Ezell 14th. Anthony Yunez 15th. Mike Martino 16th. Nolan Potter 17th. Zach Schrittenthal 18th. Brock Potter 19th. Rusty Modesty 20th. Stephen Baldwin 21st. Kevin Zappadil 22nd. And rounding out your field in 23rd is Anthony Ludy.
And that was your starting grid here tonight for the RSR Cup Series. And we will go ahead and bring up our Sheffield Graphics pole winner of Hunter Hayward from Zab Motorsports. Hear what the 48 has to say about sitting on top of the board here.
Hunter Hayward, Brandon up in the booth. Got a copy?
Yes, sir, I do.
Well, man, congratulations on getting the Sheffield Graphics Pole Award here at Dover. And it's not really much of a surprise. You had a lot of speed when we were here earlier in the season. Led a lot of that race. How are you feeling about tonight's race? And do you think you can get a better finish tonight than you had the last time we were here?
Yeah, hopefully I can get a better finish at Dover. I really like this place. I definitely can show my pace here sometimes, and I really enjoy it. Miles the Monster definitely can take a toll of your tires very, very badly. So I'm going to take care of these 4 tires as much as I can for a majority of the race, and hopefully I can stay up front for as long as I can. And yeah.
Well, man, let you guys get ready to start this thing. Let you get back up to your race. Team, wish you the best of luck, and hopefully you can play spoiler out here and take a win away from one of these guys.
All right, thank you, sir.
All right, that was Hunter Hayward in the 48 machine, your Sheffield Graphics pole winner here tonight. As you heard from him there, looking to run good here, not in playoff contention, got knocked out in that round of 12. Did not get to the final 8, but looking to play somewhat of a spool. But Ryan Bean there in that second position, he's going to be looking to get everything out of this here position as the pace car pulls in. We'll be looking to take the green flag here to kick off tonight's event. 2 races left in the season.
Green, green, green.
Green flag is in the air. Hunter Hayward's off and away. Ryan Bean with the great restart up top. Down low, Trevor Massetti did not get going. That's going to let Curtis Preston slot down in the third. But it looks like from there, most drivers get 2 wide through 1 and 2 as the race for the lead. Battles Bean into the wall a little bit off of 2, almost down into Hayward, but he stays out of him. He's racing hard to get points, but into that wall early, that's going to be devastating for Bean's race.
Yeah, I mean, that turned out a lot better than it could have. That could have been lap 1 race over for Ryan Bean. And I was looking at that restart, nice and courteous restart, and Curtis Preston, you gotta imagine if he can get to the back bumper of the 25, he's gonna be racing him pretty hard. That's the one thing he does not want, is Ryan Bean to come out here and run super well and potentially win this race, because that puts his teammate at GT at risk of getting knocked out here, depending on how the race unfolds.
Yeah, you got to think about that. Slide job racing. 2 of their drivers already in contention for next week at Homestead, having the 2 wins to lock themselves in. And that is Curtis Preston in the 29, our past season champion, and the 59 of Travis Everett. But their teammate GT Arzari came near 3rd in points tonight, looking to bring himself into that next position, but he was not many points ahead of Andrew Little and Ryan Bean. So those are the 2 he's going to have to really concern himself most with. And Ryan Bean running 2nd right now. Andrew Little and GT Arzari, those 2 are going to have to be very much battling each other for that 4th and final transfer slot. Stage points going to be very critical, I believe, here, Brandon.
Yeah, and looking at the position GT's in currently, 10th position, he's in position to get at least 1 stage point, but it's not panic time yet for the 14. We've got a pretty decent length stage here, but GT, he's such a patient driver right now. He's just in conservation mode, letting these guys go out here, burn their tires up, push really hard, and then he'll start ticking off positions by the time this stage comes to a close. I imagine we'll see him definitely within the top 5 by the time we hit lap 30.
You still see the battle brewing up front. Ryan Bean, he needs to lead laps. He needs stage points. He needs maximum points in every scenario here to guarantee him the best position. You got to be thinking, if he's this close coming down to the end of the stage, you know, I never want to say that you're going to use somebody up here that early in the race, but man, you know, that 1 extra point could come down to be what you need at the end of this race.
Yeah, I mean, you don't want to put yourself in a situation where potentially you're going to get wrecked. I mean, Hunter Hayward's got to understand the position that Ryan Bean and Curtis Preston behind him, especially Ryan Bean, are driving in today's race. And it might be willing to just kind of move out of the way and let him, you know, get those points and save both of their race cars, especially, and just try to go for the win a bit later on.
You can see it's really starting to stack up here a little bit with the field. You had Bean and Hayward out a good distance on Curtis Preston there. Now Preston's starting to close the gap to the 25's back bumper, as he's got Massetti, Everett, Watkins, Little, Catrone, Fitzpatrick, Irizarry rounded out your top 10 there. You can see the battle there for that 6th position. Watkins and Everett, and you got Little. Oh, man. Catrone up the racetrack a little there as he battles with Fitzpatrick.
Yeah, really big battle going on here. And Curtis Preston thought about looking to the outside of Fitzpatrick for that 9th position. Decided not to try to make that charge here. Instead, going to try to cross him over on the outside, or excuse me, on the inside coming out of turn 2 here. Going to be able to get the position. Fitzpatrick going to give way here and not put up much of a fight. But look at Little taking a little bit of a wider line through 3 and 4, getting a good run off. Able to hold off GT for the time being.
Directly in front of there's Catrone. There's Little. Catrone pretty much in a must-win situation here tonight. As he was well without a distance to make it points, and he needs to go there and get the win. So he's got to be thinking about that all night. He's been employing some interesting strategies, and going for stage points, and the race is saving tires. And I wonder if that is going to come back to bite Catrone.
It probably is going to be the reason if he cannot win. I mean, I think at this point he is kind of made his bed that he has to stick to that strategy. You can't go into the race now thinking I got to get points. You've got to throw everything at it for the win. And unfortunately, that only works out if you get the win. He's put himself so far behind now on, giving up points like you talked about for those strategies, trying to go for the win, that he's just put himself in a hole that now that's what it's going to take.
Yeah, it's just going to take a win. You're exactly right. As you see there, GT gets by him on the inside. There's a great pass from GT. That puts him up to 8 as he's directly behind Andrew Little, who he really needs to beat here tonight. Especially, you got to be thinking about stage points. And I think that's where the tire strategy is going to really come into this factor, Brandon, I think, because if you need stage points, you're going to have to take tires at the stages. Then you're taking a chance of, in that last stage of the race, not being in a good position to get stage points. Or, good points at these cautions.
Yeah, I think that if you are somebody like these guys right on the bubble, I mean, they're so close in points, you can't risk giving up 3 points by not taking tires here. You have to give up potentially the race win by making sure you can maximize your potential points by sticking with it and getting those stage points. Because there's going to be somebody like Andrew Little, like GT, like Ryan Bean that's so close. 2 of them could possibly decide to save a set, and the other gets the set, gets the stage points, and maybe gives up the win. Ooh, is Andrew Little into the wall hard? Actually made contact with GT.
Oh, they're both. Oh, major damage.
Kevin Ruff.
Oh, that is huge implication. Chad B. Singer, Ruff, Little, and Irizarry, and that was them 2 battling. Those are the 2 that need points, racing each other. And that's going to bring our first Nissan Central caution of the night with huge playoff implications. And I think Little's engine is done. His engine's smoking. Little's, that may be the end of his night as we go back on the Freaky Fast replay here. Everything has changed. Hard racing between these 2 here in the 14 to 68. Not sure. I think Little may have gotten to the wall. Yes, he did. Into the outside wall, racing hard for that position. Comes down the racetrack into Irizarry. Nowhere really for GT to go. And man, oh man, both drivers, major playoff implications for those guys.
Yeah, this is going to be a race of resilience now for Little and Irizarry. Little hoping his engine is going to be able to get fixed up here. Not going to have to spend too much time on pit road. GT should be okay with his engine. Just a little bit of cosmetic damage. Going to be getting as much of that fixed and just hoping that they get cautions here, that they can potentially get back on the lead lap, pick up some spots. Gonna have to look at the points here and try to get a rough estimate before the stage to just kind of see where this shakes out. But Ryan Bean is loving this. This is essentially guaranteeing him a spot. It's pretty much these 2 now, GT and Little, going to be battling amongst themselves, barring the fact that Ryan Bean gets caught up in something later for that last transfer spot. And that's without somebody like Catrone or Campbell that have an upset win here and come away and steal this thing. That shakes it up even more.
Oh man, yeah, I mean, if someone comes up big and steals a win away, then that's where GT's got to worry. The big thing looking at it though is Andrew Little, that engine damage. I think that may be the nail in the coffin for him there. The big person that I'm looking at is now Nathan Campbell. If he can score major playoff points here, he's up to 9th and get some good stage points here in that 52 machine here, Brandon. He's 23 behind GT. If he can make that gap up to about, I would say, at least 10, if he can get 13 combined stage points to get within 10, he may be able to get 10 positions in between those 2 with the damage on that 14 machine.
Yeah, especially with the damage, GT is going to be falling laps down here. He's already won at least down. The separation of these laps, I mean, it depends on how GT finds himself for the stage or maybe another caution before the stage is over. If he can make up, like you said, maybe half the points in this stage and half in the next stage, just kind of get close and rely on the positions at the end of the race here, it could very well end up with Nathan Campbell if he can stay out of trouble, run a good race, play the strategy well. He could take advantage of this in a big way.
Yeah, and looking at it too here, he got actually damaged from that when the 68 came back up the racetrack from that wreck. So Campbell does have some left front damage that could really hinder that car the way how it looks. So he may be struggling for pace here too, as we're going to be looking to go back green flag racing here, front row of the 48, Hunter Hayward, the 29, Curtis Preston, Ryan Bean there in third, Trevor Massetti fourth, and Travis Everett your top 5. And as soon as the pace car pulls off, Hunter Hayward says, I'm not really going to wait. I just want to go. He's off and away.
Guys, he's going to try to have these guys battling side by side, but they all get single filed out before they hit turn 1 here. And this is what we saw in the last restart. Hunter Hayward really fired off very fast. So did Ryan Bean. And then they just kind of, after about 2 laps of really pushing the car, backed it down a bit, and that allowed Curtis Preston and the rest of the field to really start closing in on them.
Yeah, this will be interesting to see. This right here going to be 10 laps till stage 1 at lap 30. The 48 Hunter Hayward here hanging on to the lead. Curtis Preston locked into the next round there in second. Ryan Bean in third, needs as many points as possible, but that wreck there between GT and Little definitely helped his cause. GT's actually 2 laps down. He's actually still on pit road. He has required repair, guys. I think this may, oh man, Campbell could possibly do this, and Little, it's going to be a battle between the 2 crews to fix whose car up faster. Man, this is really shook things up here for GT RSR in the 14, who came into the playoffs really is maybe the favorite.
Yeah, and I think if you're GT, you understand the position you're in, hoping that they can get that thing fixed up before the stage ends so we can at least get the lucky dog here to get one of them back. Really going to be hoping that he can get out there now. 5 laps down on the field. Andrew Little still 6 laps down now, both still on pit road, but there's might be another caution here. It looks like Harold Watkins and Catrone get together. Watkins just about saves it. Fitzpatrick then into the back of Watkins. No caution here. Able to get that save, but some damaged race cars.
Oh man, major damage on Watkins. His rear end all crumpled up, and Catrone going backwards. He needs a win tonight. Those stage points really not going to matter for him. But I tell you what, Campbell though, he's going forward. He has Watkins in his sights next, so now he's 7th. That'll be 3 bonus points right there if he can get up to the 7th position. That'll bring him within 20. And he's going to need more stage points than that, though, because right now GT in 22nd, even with a 23-point deficit there, you're going to need at least some stage points to help you there, because Campbell's got to almost win the race to make that in.
Yeah, I mean, I think Campbell can probably get up to 6th here with the damage that Fitzpatrick has on the nose. Might just be able to hold off Campbell, but really going to have to rebound for the 2nd stage to try to capitalize on that. Definitely going to be looking to get the damage fixed on the 52 during this stage caution.
Yeah, that's very true, very true. You can get that fixed up, and he should have more pace than that. So we've seen Campbell have good top 5 runs, too, and he's got his teammate Strength Throw here. I think you got to think would be helpful here, who's not in position in these playoffs here, to be a rear gunner as sorts here, to hold off, to help Campbell at least get these 3 points before he can get this thing fixed up and maybe go for more points in that 2nd stage.
Absolutely. I do not expect Schrittenthal to be making this pass on his teammate here and taking away that one valuable point. Should just be holding station. Rear gunner, like you said, just making sure nobody else is going to be up here trying to contend to make that pass on the 52 by the end of the stage.
Oh, man, I tell you, it's heated up front also. What do you know? We've seen this earlier in the season. 28, lap 28 here right before the end of the stage, and 48 to 29 again. Looking to be the class of the field here at Dover. We've seen this earlier in the season. And I tell you what, push came to shove there earlier in the season. We've seen fireworks fly. We've seen fireworks fly in the playoffs between these two. I mean, you never know when you see the 48 and the 29. It could end up definitely an interesting battle. It's lap 29 here. Here comes Curtis Preston with the big cut down. He used that 2nd lane. See what type of run he can build here. He's actually going to dive to the inside. Hey, we're going to stay to the outside here. Not give too much room. They're going to pinch the 29 off. This is going to be a good battle here off of the corner.
Ooh, almost a little bit of contact. Curtis Preston losing it into the wall.
Hard collision. That's going to take him out of the race.
Well, we thought it was going to be that heavyweight battle. I mean, this was the cornerstone of that rivalry between the two here at Dover earlier on in the season. Hunter Hayward came out the worst end of it then, but it looks like Preston taking the worst end of it now, just trying to keep the contact from happening between himself and the 48 here. But luckily, Curtis Preston doesn't have to worry too much about this. He was just out here for the win. I'm sure it stings taking himself out of contention, but not really going to hurt his championship hopes here. I mean, you can take that with a bit of solace, even though you're going to, really be off pace for the rest of the race.
Yeah, I tell you what, also that might help Nathan Campbell. Also, I think that pushes him up to 6th instead of 7th. So that might give him 4 points.
Will.
So, man, huge implications there. That's 4 points. So that's 19 behind the 14. So, ooh, and the way the positions are right now, I mean, you know, it gets close if he gets stage points next time. So we'll have to watch how this all plays out. But I tell you, you know, that right there looked like Curtis was just not trying to get into him there. You see, I mean, the 48 was definitely not giving much room. I mean, I expected that. We've seen these two not give much room to each other all season long. And I think the 29 is just trying not to get into him there. It kind of got loose, and he corrected it, and that's so easy to lose once you get that sideways, and that's just major contact there. And luckily for him, though, he's got that win to let this slide for him and let him get into that next round to compete for another back-to-back championship.
Yeah, I think that's exactly what happened, like you said there. And I mean, you guys saw it live. The group gets so tight coming up out of turns 2 and 4 here, just trying to avoid contact, especially with the positioning he had on the 48. If he'd have made contact there, it's very likely that not only would he have turned the 48, but also himself.
Yeah, that would have ended up really, really bad. So we'll see how that all plays out here as we get them all coming off a pit road now. We'll see what type of strategies play, because those 4 at least come down right there did not take tires. Nathan Campbell's still sitting on pit road. I know the 52. I believe he got that 6th place in the stage. So I would say that's 4 bonus points right there, Brandon.
Yeah, it's getting really close. He's going to need a sizable chunk in the next stage here. Now down to a 15-point gap from the cutoff, but and you got to hope that Nathan Campbell really he's needing the drive of his life here to try to crack this top 4.
Now, would that actually be 6 it's 4 points, right?
It should be 5.
5, I think. Yeah, that's
5
5
points.
points. Wow. So, man, that's gonna shake it up, I believe, right there a good little bit. So, at the way they stand now, I believe that that gap would be only 18 points. So that is very doable.
Absolutely, especially considering looking at it now, Curtis Preston a lap down after getting his damage fixed, but GT still on pit road 15 laps down. Not really much hope that he's going to be improving his position without a monstrous wreck at some point during this race to take out a lot of guys. And then he's got to get back on track as well. Man, there's a lot of hope there. The clouds are parting, the sunshine is coming through for Nathan Campbell to try to point his way in.
It is very possible. We'll have to see what can play out here. Is what we're looking at. I believe we'll be taking the 1 to green, I believe, this time by Kevin Ruff stays out here. I believe he came down with the caution before. So I think he came down here to stay out this time. And GT comes off of pit road 15 laps down. He exits pit road.
Just ahead here, going another lap down. And looking at it, Zach, I don't think Kevin Ruff has pit yet this race. Our scoring is showing that he has not had a pit lap yet. So he's on his original amount of fuel here. We're going to see what the 112 can do. Hopefully these guys can do a pretty good job of navigating him, because he's definitely going to be a bit off pace from these guys that are on the fresh tires. But looking at some of the guys at the front, it looks like the first car on fresh tires is going to be Ryan Bean. And behind him is then going to be Harold Watkins. Everybody else looks like they just took fuel inside the top 10 or around the top 11.
I think Bean is going to fly around them pretty quickly. It'll also be interesting to see Curtis Preston, who's still on pit road, sitting there. If he'll come back off pit road, I think he'll stay there most likely and give that position to his teammate. I wouldn't see why not.
Yeah, no reason really for him to come back out here and keep plucking away at it. Just take it as a loss, and him being out of the race, it's going to help his teammate at least 1 point.
Pace car in this time. Ruff takes off there. He gets a great start. We see a little wheel spin from all the guys on old tires there. Everyone got very close to the wall there, spinning the tires. Yunez, Everett. Here comes Bean to the inside of Yunez. You're going to see these tires fire off pretty quickly. And look at that. Hayward around the outside of Ruff here. Man, he powered around the outside.
Yeah, maybe taking a little bit more care of his tires, maybe just having a little bit more speed. Kevin Ruff then pushes wide, but Ryan Bean is coming with a head of steam. He was being really aggressive off this restart. 3 wide for a brief second going into 1. Already up to 4th. within a lap now. I imagine by the end of this lap, he's going to be up to second, possibly even taking over the lead.
There he is, riding on board with him. You'll see the closing rate. Just amazing how much speed. You'll see if he goes high here. What does he decide to do? He slides up the racetrack, going to cut back down here as the 112 goes up the racetrack at Kevin Ruff. That's going to be second place for Ryan Bean. Now he sets his sights on leaving Hunter Hayward. We'll see how long this takes. I don't think it'll take more than one corner.
Yeah, Hunter's probably just going to go, you know what, man, wave him on by, stick his hand out the window. No reason for me to try to hold you up here, and he does. Ryan Bean, our new leader. This is going to be one bonus point at the least for leading this lap here, and he's in prime position to potentially win this stage.
I tell you what, that is so critical for him. I believe he got second in stage 1 there with that incident too with Curtis Preston. So man, that's going to push him up. That's going to be 10 bonus points are in his back pocket for tonight. That is critical. If he can get another 10, that's going to be 20. I think that almost locks him almost in with any huge bearing mistake. And that has got to be worrisome for these guys. Ryan Bean coming on at the right time here at the season. He could be possibly looking to win a championship next week at the Homestead Miami Speedway.
And I mean, if you are GT, I think you've already accepted the fact that Ryan Bean is going to gap you on points. You've just got to be keeping an eye on Nathan Campbell, trying to calculate how many points he's getting, where he could potentially finish, what his speed is like compared to the rest of the field. Going to take a quick look at it here. And Nathan Campbell currently sitting 18th position. Looking at his pit stop, did take tires, but still sitting back there in the now 17th position, going to be slowly charging his way forward. Got a good bit of ground to make up, but I think he's going to have to be knocking on the door of the top 5 here at the end of stage 2 to have a chance at pointing his way in over GT.
Yeah, I think you're exactly right. I think he needs to be right there in the top 5. At least get another, I'd say, 6 bonus points. If he can get 6 out there, bonus points going to get a top 5. He will put himself in a very good situation to have enough positions in between him and GT. As long as nobody else wrecks out majorly here, he doesn't need that, then he can put the positions in between him and GT. Man, that'd be so unfortunate to see the season he's had. He knocked out of the Final Four, but that is the playoff implications. And it looks like Andrew Little, he's off pit road now, 24 laps down, so he is 9 behind GT. Those two incidences between those two running in almost near top 5 has really shooken up their playoff contentions.
And another driver that's really needing to win here, James Catrone, up to 5th. Didn't take tires on the last pit stop. Made the pass on Travis Everett not too long ago. Now looking to hunt down Trevor Massetti and Kevin Ruff, but it looks like Harold Watkins closing in on him pretty quickly with his fresh tires.
Yeah, the new tires definitely coming to fruition here. Hayward doing a good job to hang on the second still on the old tires. He's built a little bit of a gap, actually. So him not taking tires hasn't played too bad for him. But yeah, you can definitely start to see the tires are coming forward as we go. And right now, looks like Campbell up to 14th. He's challenging 13th. So his progress is good here. He needs to get to lap 60, though. That's going to be very soon. But with the new tires, he's got a lot of guys who didn't take tires up ahead of him. He may be able to get there right now, about 3 seconds behind that 5th position. It's still within range, I believe.
Yeah, it's still got 15 laps to make it happen here. And, I mean, you see already, I mean, look at Ryan Bean at the front. 5 seconds, almost 6 seconds ahead of second place Hunter Hayward on those fresh tires. I'll show you exactly how crucial having that set at the end of the race could play out for a lot of these guys that opted for this no-tire strategy in the first stage. But Nathan Campbell at the moment now getting by. The 2 is extra enthrall teammate giving away very easily. Just outside the top 10 now, 12th position, 2 cars out, and that's a big gaggle of cars right up there inside the top 10 that he is licking his chops hoping to get out here soon.
Oh man, this is a huge group of them right here as you're watching all these drivers do battle. Oh, Catrone, he gets past, but it looks like that was the 5 of Ezel. Yeah, Ezel there goes by Catrone. Here comes Watkins.
3 wide.
Oh, 3 wide. Baldwin involved too. There's Zabadil. This is going to let Campbell catch up even more as he's gotten by Everett now to put himself up into 11th. So I definitely think he could possibly get up there and get top 5. This is going to be good for Campbell here, if anything.
Absolutely, and again, got that damage fixed on pit road. which is why he ended up so far in the back during that pits cycle for stage 1 here. But he has caught this group, and the best thing for him, with that little bit of contact, that scary moment they had when they were 3 wide, everybody got spread out. He's not going to have to wait for these guys to sort themselves out anymore. He can just pick them off when he catches them.
This is looking better and better as the laps click on. We're starting lap 50 this time by, so 11 to go. Oh man, here comes Campbell on the back of Zabladil and Catrone. He's got to do this clean though. He can't get any more damage. He's got a lot of damage on that left front. I think he's already got it worked on. It doesn't like they got much done on that damage, but he's using the car to the best of his ability here, battling for position. He's going to have to get by these guys quickly though too and not lose too much time because we're coming to 10 to go.
Yeah, that's kind of the mindset you have when you're on this strategy. You've got the fresh tires. You know you're going to be faster. You have to kind of be aggressive with it, but you also have to be smart. You can't put yourself in a position that you're going to get wrecked or potentially wreck a guy that is on the older tires and potentially ruin your race doing that. Like you said, he's already got that good bit of damage on the left front here. Can't really afford to get any more and hurt his long run speed or just straight line speed any more than it already is. But he's now cracked into the top 10. Looking to get to the inside of Zabladil. Zabladil rolling out of it now, going to be giving him that position. Kevin Rupp, the next car in his sights.
Oh man, this is looking better and better for him as he's just slot up there. This will be 8. So right here will be itself looking for 3 points.
Quick update, GT has gotten now around his teammate Curtis Preston, 15 laps down. Curtis Preston falling to 20. Andrew Little still on the track now, getting passed by Kevin Ruff and Nathan Campbell, going another lap down. 25 laps down in the 23rd position here. So GT got an extra point. That's a good buffer. Chad Biesinger hitting pit road as well, 1 lap down. Might be calling it quits on the day. We'll have to keep an eye on that. Could be an extra position for GT. But man, Nathan Campbell getting a little aggressive with Kevin. A little shot in the shorts saying, come on, man. I got fresher tires, out of the way.
Now only about 2 seconds back from Trevor Massetti in 6th. And not too far ahead of that is Harold
Oh,
Watkins.
Stephen Baldwin in the wall. He gets it saved, though.
Whoa, major incident. Campbell's going to go by him. That's going to put him up to 7th. Massetti's not too far ahead. If he has to, does he have enough time to run him down? There's the question. If he can get up to 6th, that'll give him another 5 bonus points. That'll be 10 to only put him 13 behind.
And, I mean, looks like Harold Watkins and Hunter Hayward have been battling pretty hard, which has slowed them up a good bit. Might just be able to have them close in, but it looks like Harold Watkins using his advantage on the fresh tires, trying to go around the outside of the 48, just not quite working.
Yeah, it looks like he's fighting harder on that outside groove as right on board Campbell. He can see up ahead of him. The guy's slowing down. It's Massetti and Hayward both on slower tires here. This is going to be interesting. Can he get up to 5th or 6th? We'll have to see here. They're going to be coming this time by here. 4 to go, Brandon. I think he can do it. How much he's closing in right here. Looking at the lap time difference, it's about 0.6 of a lap time.
Yeah, he's got a shot here. Definitely not out of the realm of possibility that he can get inside the top 5, but definitely needs to get by Trevor Massetti and get at least those 5 points.
Oh man, he's getting closer and closer. Closing the gap down in his 52 machine. He can see Massetti now right in front of him, setting his sights on that machine down the back straightaway. They'll be coming this time right here. Will be 2 to go. Can he get the 2 positions ahead? He has to do everything he can to get these spots. These are going to be critical right here.
He's set up for a good run out of turn 4, maybe lifted a little bit as they look like they were going to make contact between the 88 and 48. Setting up for another good run here. Just not being quite as aggressive on the throttle as you'd like to see. Can't quite manage that gap anymore, as now it looks like they're coming across 1 to go for the stage.
Oh man. It looks like white flag's out for that stage, but I don't think Campbell's going to be able to do it. He's back too far off. He's going to try to get the run here. It's going to be critical for his playoff chances here. It'll be 4 points, though, looking like what he's going to hang on to possibly here, Brandon. That'll be 9 points that he made up in the stages. We'll have to see if he can make up the positions in the race here. Coming off 4, but won't be able to do it as there's the stage caution. Second stage is out. Ryan Bean, your stage 2 winner. That's critical 10 points for him to put himself in a very good spot here coming down to the final end of this race.
Oh man, this is definitely heating up here. It's really getting close now. I mean, it's definitely within the realm of possibility, but I think Nathan Campbell, with the points that he's got now, with where GT is, not a lot of guys have fallen out of the race. I think if Nathan Campbell can somehow formulate a top 5 here, any position higher in the top, inside the top 5, the better. But I think a minimum of top 5 here, he can get it done.
I mean, looking at it now, be 14 points, so he need at least 14 positions in between him and GT. And I believe that would be, I think it'd be exactly 14 between the two. It's 21-7. So, ooh. And B-Singer, he's 9 laps down now. He's sitting on pit road. I think his engine might have popped. Baldwin's 6 laps down. Those are 3 positions for Irizarry. This looks bleaker and bleaker for Campbell. He needs to get, like you said, get up into that top 5 if he wants a chance of this.
Yeah, and you've got to think that some of these guys ahead of him too, like Watkins, potentially even Ruff, these are guys that not really having the greatest pace, but were up there due to the fact that they had a fresher set of tires. I think, we saw Campbell have really good pace on even tires here. I think he's got a shot at it being able to contend for a top 5 pretty easily. Looks like sitting here on pit road, getting the rest of that damage fixed. Now realizing maybe that was hindering him a bit more than he expected. Now sitting 18th on the board, last car on the lead lap. Man, I think it's going to be challenging to get up through the field. This is the risky part. He's putting himself back here, risking getting caught up in something else just to try to get every little bit of speed he can, get that thing worked on as much as possible. He's got to hope now that he does not get caught up in something. That would be absolutely disastrous for his chances. I think if he got caught up in something at this point, he's got these points, but he needs to be able to finish out the race with a strong run to have a shot at pointing his way in. Any kind of contact now, any kind of more damage, getting caught up in anything is pretty much going to put that to an end.
That's very true. And let's talk to our stage 2 winner, Ryan Bean, here in the 25.
Hey, Ryan. Brandon up in the booth. You got a copy?
Yes, sir. What's up?
Well, man, it has been a spectacular race for you so far, taking advantage of some misfortunes of other guys, setting yourself very well inside the cutoff now with the second place stage 1, first place for stage 2. How do you feel about your chances not only making the top 4, but getting the win here?
Honestly, the win's possible. We just needed to go green the rest of the way. But the strategy coming in was, stage points, stage points, stage points. I know all those guys didn't take a set of tires, and I did. So it's going to be what it's going to be if there's a caution. But right now, with the circumstances that happened, we just need to race smart and just finish the race, and we should be all right.
Well, it definitely looks like you've had speed. I mean, coming in here, qualifying in the top 3, you've been running there all day. Like you said, made use of those fresh tires, got those valuable stage points, but everything's pretty even now. If you didn't have to worry about points, I mean, how confident are you that if it just comes down to the win, that you've got something for some of these guys that were battling with you up here, on these even tires? Hunter Hayward cycled to the back a little bit, but do you think you got something for maybe the 48?
I think so. Unfortunately, I think you're gonna have to use a little bit of the bumper, but I'm gonna obviously give it my all to try to not do that. But it's really hard to pass here. But I'm gonna give it everything I got. I think I do got something for him if it comes down to that.
All right, bud. Well, we're having fun up here watching this thing. You've been putting on a good race so far. Go out here and try to keep that thing clean, and hopefully we'll talk to you at the end of it.
All right, thanks guys. Enjoy the show.
All right, that was your stage 2 winner there of Ryan Bean. And what a job by him there. But we just seen from our producer just telling us in here that 52 just went a lap down. He's 18th a lap down now. So oh man, major laps there. That's
just a mistiming on pit road. Could not get out ahead of the pace car, and unfortunately dropping a lap here. And considering that this is the last guaranteed caution they have if it goes green, this is horrible. This is a big mental lapse for the 52. He's hoping that something happens here, maybe a single car spin, to just give him the lucky dog so he can cycle back, but they're back to green.
Yes, they are. Ryan Bean shot out of a cannon there. Fitzpatrick was trying to time that well, but Ryan Bean just said, I'm going to go when I need to. And, man, if he ever do that, off and away he goes. But I tell you what, I'm not sure what exactly happened here. Looking at the way the standings are, it looks like possibly, I believe, one of the first cars I thought would be on new tires is the 48 Hunter Hayward, but he's back about 14th, 15th. He must have sped on pit road or some mistake there. It's Travis Everett, now Trevor Massetti. I believe Massetti's actually going to be the first of the guys who is in those positions.
Yeah, I'm not sure. Down 11 positions for Hunter Hayward. His pit stop time was about a second slower than most others. Maybe had some damage he had to get fixed. Not too sure. Doesn't look like he had to serve a penalty. Maybe slid through his box or something like that. Gave up a whole chunk of positions, but we saw the 48 has some speed. Sure, he plays it smart. Definitely going to be seeing him back up to the front. Still got a lot of racing left to go.
That's for sure. Lots of racing to go. Still is Bean out front checking out with Fitzpatrick. I got to give a shout out to Ryan Ezel. Look at that 5 machine up here. Qualified in that 14th position. A great qualifying spot nonetheless here at Dover. But man, running in the top 3 here, top 3 in the stage. He's playing the strategy right and running well, man, late in the season. That's great to see for this 5 machine. Maybe he's putting something together where maybe next season he can have a shot at making this playoffs.
And you heard from Ryan Bean there in his interview that how hard it is, especially when the tires were in, how hard it is to pass here, and you really want the track position. And Ryan Ezel, Bob Fitzpatrick, Massetti, as well as Kevin Rupp behind them running in the 5th position. This is more of a track position type of strategy. They went ahead and took the tires, cycled themselves to the front, took another set to maintain that position on even tires with everybody else because they know how hard it is to pass and having a great run because of it. Hopefully they're able to keep it up here, nail the strategy and not get too far behind or try to get too far ahead. Hold on to this easy top 5 day for them if they can do that.
I'll tell you what, one driver I'm looking at to have is right behind this 5 machine. Could possibly, not in playoff contention, but could possibly be looking his first win of the season to hop on board with him. 88 and Trevor Massetti. He's in good position right now. He was very fast in the last run on the old tires. He actually was trying to battle Hunter Hayward for really the driver at the front of the drivers who didn't take tires that first run. So I think he's got some good long run pace here as he comes up on the back of the Ezel here. He's going to check up a little bit here, but great wits from this driver right here. He has great racecraft. I would love to see him get victory late this season.
Yeah, and it's really crazy to think about the fact that Trevor Massetti does not yet have a win this season, considering all of the great runs that we have seen from him so far up to this point in this season. He's come so close, had such great speed at a lot of tracks, but just something or another, be it strategy or bad luck, has kept him out of victory lane here. But up in the top 5, still have a little bit left to go. There's still going to be at least one more pit stop these guys are going to have to make. And like you said, I'm with you, Zach. I would love to see the 88 in victory lane here tonight. I think it's well-deserved and well past due.
Yeah, that's the biggest thing. I think it's past due. This kid has had such good pace a lot of times. And really, I think the biggest thing is just had a few little tiny things happen to him to take him out of contention in a few races that he's had the pace for. I mean, but week in and week out, when he's at the racetrack, he is a consistent top 5 machine. And that's the biggest thing I see from him week in and week out. He's just consistent, and that's what that shows me a driver that is on the up, and he's only going to get better from here.
And you can't help but point out the fact that he's potentially not in this playoffs anymore, not due to lack of speed or having a bad race, but just because he had to miss a race. Had some stuff come up in real life here, and unfortunately not able to make a race and was in a must-win position. And I mean, due to the fact that we're talking about that he has not had a win this season, obviously that did not happen for him. So definitely looking to make a statement here because he was definitely a championship favorite, I think, in these playoffs up to that point.
Yeah, he really was. I think he was definitely one of the favorites to make that Final Four. I think he was one of the drivers to say, you know, all season long he's been in that top 4 talk, I would say. So unfortunate for him to miss it there. But I tell you, you're looking out at the 48, he's got my Schrittenthal there for 9th. He's drove his way right back up into here as this front pack is all bunched up. And I tell you, the 48, he really likes Dover. I can tell you that much. I remember the first race I ever called, I ever seen this kid run. He was at Dover, and he was really impressive there. So not surprised to see him run so good here, but Schrittenthal all over the back bumper now as they catch up to Kevin Zabladil there in that 17 machine.
Oh, look, just ahead of them, you've got James Catrone now up to the 5th position, needing that win, inching closer and closer to it. Looking at his lap times, not quite as fast as our leader with Ryan Bean is just kind of lights out on the rest of the field right now, especially these guys that are directly behind him inside the top 10. Ran a 22.9, looks like the fastest everybody in the top 10 at least is going to be Ryan Bean next to him at a 23.01. It's Ryan Bean really stretching that gap over the rest of the top 10.
Using that clean air to good advantage. Here's look at Zabladil all over the back of the 34 Potter. He's got his teammate Hunter Hayward there also. And that's it. Zabladil, race winner from earlier in the season at Charlotte. Made a good strategy call there to get himself that win. And now battling really tight up here is they got rough battling with Massetti, who's kind of been a thorn in the side of the 88 here. But these guys all stacked up. Is now Russ going to slide back as Potter's going to go to the inside. It's kind of a, this right here can get frustrating as a driver, man. Like from that seat, I can see guys right now probably having a lot of steam boiling because you feel like you're faster, you could go, but everybody's just racing in front of you.
Oh no, there's
Right in
contact.
front of you.
Oh, and Hunter
Oh.
Hayward just gets clipped, able to save it a little bit, but
Sprint and throttle.
and Watkins comes piling in.
Oh.
GT barely misses it. Ever barely misses it.
Major incident here, and I think that's going to give Campbell his lap back too. That's major for Nathan Campbell in the 52. But oh, huge incident on the front straightaway. I believe it all started with Potter and Kevin Ruff there off of 4 to bring out our 4th or Nissan Central Yellow of the night. Man, oh man, on the front straightaway here at Dover, incident happening. That's going to get multiple drivers, 4 of them, the 34, the 112, the 48, the 2. We'll see as they come off 4. 34 coming up the racetrack, the 112 off the wall just a little bit. They're going to make contact. 34 bounces down. Oh, the 2 short throw tries to miss it. He just clips the 48 at Hayward, sending him in the inside wall. But major damage. Here's Watkins into 22. Oh, he's in like a missile. Just direct impact there. Watkins losing the front end and Ruff and also Potter. So major damage for a lot of guys there. That's Miles right there. Just took a few victims.
Yeah, that's some ARCA break if I've ever seen it there. Somebody put that up on YouTube, but man, it's just it's a product of Dover. How tight these corner exits are. You just, you know, Kevin Ruff needing to be a little bit closer to the wall than he was, and Potter not quite anticipating that. Just a little bit of contact there, and there's nowhere to go when a wreck happens in front of you here. But aside from the wreck, I'm looking at this pit road strategy here, and Ryan Bean voicing a little bit of displeasure, getting caught out. Everybody hitting pit road, electing not to come down was the 25, realizing that he's probably in trouble here.
Yeah, that's going to put him in a bad situation here. And also because these guys are going to be able to make it on fuel now, Brandon.
Yeah, we do not have a lot of laps left in this race, and 60% fuel load. They only needed to make 1 stop during this last stage of the race here to make it to the end. They just made it. Don't know if they took their tires or not. Looks like a lot of them decided to. So this is going to be a big discrepancy on speed, but knowing that he's going to have to pit again before the end of this race, he's hoping for a caution somewhere late where he can use the set of tires that he has over these guys right now. That is going to be the saving grace for Ryan Bean.
Oh, man. He's got a set left. At least that's the big thing in his mind he's got to keep the picture of. He's got a huge gap, too. With the way he's built stage points now, he's got to think about survival here. You know, I know he wants to stay in a good position here, but if he gets wrecked, that's where it gets kind of tricky. So, gotta watch and see how this plays out here. But man, if I'm Ryan Bean, I'm definitely kicking myself there. I mean, the thing is, if he pits there and takes his final set, like a few other guys, I believe Ezel, Fitzpatrick, Catrone, I believe that also was their final set. But you know, it was a slam dunk decision for Everett, Hayward, Massetti, drivers like that who had 2 sets of tires left. I mean, that was a no-brainer. Come down, get your tires moment there. But ooh, if I'm Bean, I'm a little bit worried right now because just the tire difference, even though it's not that many laps, it's going to be a huge difference here at Dover.
Yeah, the first couple laps might be able to hold him off decently, but after that, it's going to fall off a good bit. And if you're in the position that Bean is in, you don't want to do what you're doing right now. I was just about to say, he didn't come down and give up track position for free. He made his bed and he was sticking to it, but he said, hey guys, watch this, actually over the radio, and came down pit road and gave up all that track position for free here. Granted, I mean, he's in a good spot already, but I think the strategy was still going to work out for him. I mean, he still had that extra set in the bank that the rest of these guys, or a lot of these guys, didn't. I still think he was sitting pretty good. Ooh, was Massetti almost brake checked Hayward there. Not sure what all that was about as they're going around, but things are getting shaken up. And we were talking about Nathan Campbell getting back on the lead lap with this caution. GT has cycled back up to 20th position, 15 laps down. Campbell, 13th position. He needs right around that top 5. That's where he needs to be to close in that points gap. He's got a chance at it now.
Yeah, he's got to get up there. And I tell you what, with more people having incidences and mistakes, that gives GT the chance, because B Singer, he's still out there, but it's only a 2-lap difference now. And a few guys like Watkins, Potter, they're still sitting on pit road. So rough. I mean, there's some stuff to change up here, but we'll have to see how it all plays out. Bean, I think he went with the conservative strategy. This is going to put him in a good spot to go to the Final Four. It's not going to win the race, but this might be the Final Four move he needs. Pace car is in. Fitzpatrick's off and away from that outside lane. Ezel up to second. Massetti third. Catrone fourth. He needs the win. We got to think about that. Can Catrone go up here and get a win? This race has been a wild card race so far. You can see a wild card like Catrone that far out points go out here and win it. That's where GT and Campbell don't want to see happen.
Yeah, and you got to think as well, I mean, just behind him here, now to the inside of him, the 48 of Hunter Hayward, talked about him getting involved in that wreck. Luckily for the 48, the damage is all on the rear. No nose damage here, not really going to be hurting his downforce. Should be able to have some pretty good straight line speed, so he's definitely not out of it yet, but just added them. Massetti now, I got to think, is probably one of the fastest cars now in the top 3 with Ryan Bean getting cycled in the back. I think Massetti's got a really good chance at this as well.
I've also seen Everett kind of, for the first time, really show pace to that. I've seen Everett just drop back consistently today. I don't know if that's just him being conservative, trying not really to get into the way or not really cause too many issues out here because he's already locked in, being a smart conservative driver like he is. But, man, he's starting to show a little bit of pace here now as he's up to 5th with these tires. So I think he knows it's game time.
And Ryan Bean on pit road. I'm not sure why, but now Ryan Bean has fallen a lap down in the 14th position.
Oh, that changes a lot of stuff. I still think he's all right points-wise, but what is going on with the 25? He's still sitting there. There's no damage.
I know what happened, Zach.
He went down pit road.
Close pit road. That is a stop and go under green penalty. Now 2 laps down for Ryan Bean. That was a huge, he felt like he made a mistake staying out when the rest of them did, and he compounded it by making a mental error coming down a closed pit.
Oh no. That is terrible for Ryan Bean. I still think the points work out for him, but man, he can't have, if he gets caught up in a wreck, that's where the points start to get worrisome.
Yeah, just got to play it smart here. Hope that somehow you can get cycled back. I mean, he is the first car lap down. Granted, he is 2 laps down, but there's a lot of potential that you can get those laps back. Ask me how. I know. It's definitely within the realm of possibility.
It definitely can happen. That is for sure. But up front, Massetti into the wall. Oh man, Hayward almost collects him there as he bounced off that. That was so close between those two. Massetti, I mean, he pounded that wall off of 2. That's some heavy right side damage for that car as Fitzpatrick hangs onto it out front. Man, Ezel, he's in position for maybe a top 5, top 3 win. I mean, he's right here, guys. What a story that would be, right? Ezel to come out here tonight and win it, though.
Yeah, that would be pretty wild. I mean, he's ever since that strategy to cycle him up toward the front, he's had the pace and he's stuck right here. Looks like Fitzpatrick just a little bit farther ahead, maybe a little bit more pace right now. Last time by, 2/10 quicker than Ezel, and Hayward slowly creeping in on the back bumper of the 5 that was just marginally quicker than our leader. But definitely a top 5 day for the 5 for sure. And if something happens with these guys at the front and they get tangled up, he's in a position that he could come out and steal this thing.
Man, oh man, look at Ryan Ezell fighting hard for second here. Catrone, he needs a win. He's behind Hayward. He's been driving it in deep, I've noticed. So he's definitely going for it here this final run. This could be the final run of the race. You never know. So let's see how it all shakes out. Here comes the run for Ezell. He bounces off the wall almost. Here comes the 48 down to the inside. What a move from him. He's going to get the pass done. Slide up the racetrack. Here comes Catrone on the bottom of the 30. He gets the apron, slides up the racetrack.
Yeah, that's going to open the door for Travis Everett to make that run. And with Catrone charging the corners as hard as he was, he's going to be burning up that right front. Going to be harder and harder to reel these guys back in with that loss of momentum.
And with as hard as these guys are racing right now, I would not be surprised to see a yellow. This is getting very close and tight-knit racing. When you get side-by-side on the exit at Dover, it's one of the toughest corners to go side-by-side in my opinion.
Yeah, you got to have a lot of patience, and you kind of accept the fact that everybody's going to be lifting. I mean, it's going to be very difficult for both guys to come out flat-foot in that situation here. And looking back at it, going through the field, trying to look at some other battles, field's pretty spread apart, and found myself back to Nathan Campbell in 12th here. A bit off the pace, a bit confused as to why the 52's not having great pace, kind of separated from the field right now. I don't know if maybe he's trying to save or what's going on with Nathan.
Is he not on a new set of tires is my question. That's the only thing I could think here, Brandon, is just 24-second laps. That's old tire lap times for sure. Biggest thing he's got to worry about, though, is Fitzpatrick is coming out of 4 now as Campbell's coming out of 2. I mean, he's half a track already a lap down. You know, before this, if this thing continues green, he could be close to being a goal on a lap down, and the race is going to end soon, too.
Yeah, I mean, you've got a second lap difference between Campbell right now and our leader, Fitzpatrick, just over a second. So if it goes the way it's going right now at the current pace, I would imagine Campbell probably going to get lapped here. I think maybe just hoping for a caution, trying to save just a little bit. But I think he had enough pace heads up that he could have stuck with the field and still had a good shot at getting that top 5 that he needed here. Not sure what the strategy is, but I think he's hoping for a caution.
Yeah, also you got to think GT. Yeah, I think that's his only chance anyways, because GT's up to 18th now. So he's going to need to be really farther than a top 5. He's going to need almost a top 3.
Yeah, the more positions GT's able to cling on to, the harder it's going to be for Campbell. But, I mean, you've also got to think Catrone is up to 4th position here. If Catrone wins, then it's kind of all for naught for Campbell anyway.
That's very, very true. I mean, Catrone is right there. I mean, he's not far behind. And, you know, I don't know if he has an extra set of tires. I'll say, if we have a short 5-lap dash and he can get in the top 3, I'd put my money on Catrone to go out there and win the thing.
Oh, we know he is definitely going to be aggressive when he needs to be. One of the more aggressive drivers in the league here, and definitely not afraid to shove the nose in and stick the car where a lot of guys probably aren't anticipating or expecting that to happen.
Hayward's even closed the gap down with Fitzpatrick. Everett's closing on him. Hayward's damage on that rear, it's definitely not made that car look as good as it was, I will say.
Yeah, I'm sure the dirty air is not helping that at all, but it's a little bit off pace from where we were used to seeing Hunter Hayward, especially earlier on in this race. Really fast and just kind of lights out over a lot of the field here. Ryan Bean and Curtis Preston seemingly like the 2 cars that were matching Hayward for pace, but now Fitzpatrick able to utilize the track position and just kind of keep the dirty air on the nose of the 48. It's kind of held them at bay. They've been matching lap times. I mean, our top 3 just ran identical lap times to each other, and it's just a matter of positioning now. Hunter Hayward looking for some clean air, and Fitzpatrick's kind of been giving it to him, coming up off the bottom just a little bit, almost giving a lane for the 48 to stick the nose and get as much turn as he can. And look, that's allowing him to close the gap in. And ooh, Fitzpatrick has the lift off of turn 4. Big moment there. Hunter Hayward having the lift, almost wrecking.
Yeah, Hunter Hayward had the moment where he's all over the map. But, you know, he has the moment where, like, right there, he goes to make the pass. Fitzpatrick is getting loose, so he's coming down the racetrack. So Hayward goes to correct back right, and I tell you, when you correct back right with these cars, sometimes when you're on the edge, especially unloaded like that, coming up out of these corners, that thing will dart right, and he almost pointed it straight into the wall, almost somewhat like Curtis Preston did when he was trying to save his slide. Just almost darted right into the wall. And it's very easy to do, but man, he heated up the tires there. Now here comes Everett with a big head of steam. He's not going to go for it here, but the big thing I think Fitzpatrick has to do is he's got to keep it on the bottom. You cannot give that 48 air. As soon as he had air on the nose, he was able to run right up to the back of him, get to the inside almost. But when he runs right on the bottom, the 48 loses ground.
Yeah, and it looks like Fitzpatrick here is trying to maximize his exit speed by taking that bit wider entry to center and then kind of cutting it down on the exit and get a bit straighter out of the corner. Now you got to give up your exit here. Ooh, is now Hunter Hayward pushed a little bit wide. Travis Everett going to the inside now to take over that second position. But you kind of have to sacrifice being able to have that exit speed just to make sure the guy can't get the good turn that he needs with you giving him that lane of clean air.
I tell you, it can't look too far behind either because Massetti behind these guys, he's flying 23.88 there. He's got by Catrone. He's up to fourth, and I tell you, he had the same thing like last run. Coming down to the end of the stage, his pace coming down to the end of the runs was very, very good, and is showing truth right here. But oh, Fitzpatrick in the wall. He goes almost into the inside wall. He's going to give up the lead. Here comes Hayward. Does he get by? Yes, he might. He might clear it on the exit. He's going to have to try to. Side by side down the front straightaway for a second. It looks like Fitzpatrick's still going to fight on the bottom.
Well, Miles reach out and grab you, and he grabbed the 3 for sure there. Definitely not ideal for Fitzpatrick, but still has a lot of speed, not too much damage, just giving up the track position right now, just trying to hold on here and maybe get back to that second position. But man, Hunter Hayward is not giving it up easy. He is making him work for it. Oh, almost contact.
Close. Oh, Patrick. Woo. Said he has to check up.
A lot of close racing here. It's a good thing I'm on push to talk. With a lot of the noises I'm making, I would be quite embarrassed if everybody could hear them.
It was Catrone and Massetti battle, but I think Massetti's going to get back by here to clear down into 1. We'll see. It's going to be close between those two. Woo. Very close is now Everett. He's out and gone from this thing, as you can see. Everett, of the playoff 8 drivers, is the only one up here in the top 10.
Yeah, and Nathan Campbell just hit pit road, now going to fall 2 laps down. Ryan Bean going to be taking over that position for the Lucky Dog as well, so that's even worse for Nathan Campbell. I think he tried something that just did not quite work out.
Yeah, I think he was on the same set of tires. He was in the position that Bean would have been out front. I mean, Bean would have had the pit too, out front at this moment if he would have stayed out. So it stayed green from that caution. So at the end of the day, Ryan Bean knew something was going to go wrong, and it went wrong there for him.
Yeah, unfortunately, I mean, Bean is he's rebounding. He's just outside the top 10. Granted, 2 laps down. Ryan Ezell in 10th position, falling back to 10th from running second just a little while ago. Last car on the lead lap here, so everybody inside the top 10. The only cars on the lead lap. I think if you can just manage to not go a lap down, you got a solid top 10 day.
13 to go. You can see the battle for third heating up. Fitzpatrick. He's got Massetti bearing down on him. Looking to take that 3rd position to get a top 3 here at Dover. They're going to be side by side down the front straightaway into 1. That outer groove going to be hard to get by, but I think Massetti makes the pass. Can he clear off of 2? No, he cannot. Looks like Fitzpatrick fights back around the outside. What a big run from the top he had.
Yeah, I thought he went up just a little bit too high, was going to allow Massetti to be able to wash up in front of him to take that position, but Fitzpatrick able to power back pretty well considering that damage. And looking at the right side, I mean, you can see the tire now pushed out past the fenders after the contact. And about 10 laps ago, that car was looking pretty good. Now it is looking all used up.
Here we go again, side by side with 11 to go. Oh, Massetti, big slide down into the entry, losing the rear. Fitzpatrick, though, still fighting hard on the outside. He gets a little
Ooh,
bit
he
to the
gets
wall.
the
Here
wall.
comes Catrone. I think Massetti's going to have him this time. Down into one.
Fitzpatrick, though, he fights back, but Massetti finally going to be able to clear him.
Oh, man. Up the third, Massetti goes. Here comes Catrone. He's looking to do it. Man, oh, man. Fitzpatrick trying to hold these guys off, but Catrone going to look to take a top 4 here from Fitzpatrick as 9 to go. Travis Everett out front, just driving away from Hunter Hayward in the second position. Trevor Massetti up the third. What a race it's been. I think at the moment our top 4 for the way it would shake out for the playoffs would be, oh, there it is. Actually, Catrone there in the top 4 is one of the top 8 guys. We got that fixed there now, as you can see on the ticker. But yeah, man, the top 4 I believe is going to be Curtis Preston, Travis Everett, Ryan Bean, and GT is what it's looked like it's going to play out to be.
Yeah, I think a little bit of a miscue. Nathan Campbell had a shot, but just timed things a bit off. Kind of put himself on the back foot here. And talking about as many laps as we got left, they're winding down in a hurry. 23, almost 24 seconds every lap. Travis Everett last lap with a 24 flat. So these are going to tick off in a hurry. And if you got an extra set and you're hoping for caution, you needed it to come out about 5 laps ago. I think there's just too little time. Granted, there's only 5 cars on the lead lap. You're going to restart with good track position, but I just don't think there's enough time to use them at this point.
Man, I'm telling you what, that 88, he's got some pace right now, too. 23.88 for him as our leader out front, running 24.07. He's running 23.85. He may have a chance for Hayward here coming down to the end with a 23.13.
Yeah, definitely has some laps left here. And looking at it, like you said, Hunter Hayward last time by, a 24.1 to Massetti's 23.8, and Massetti's driving the wheels off of it. I mean, he is hanging the rear end out off of every corner, just digging right now, trying to get to the 48.
One big thing I can tell you, it's just so tough to pass at this racetrack. This track is just, you get behind somebody, you feel confident like you can get the move done. And you even get in the dirty air, and it's like, oh, you're fighting that. And as soon as you get to the inside of them, it's so hard to keep the car down there when you have a car on the outside. It's really one of the toughest tracks to pass in all NASCAR.
Yeah, because if you're on the inside, I mean, you want to get the power down as much as you can to get the run out of the corner. But because of the way that the exits are here, where everything gets so tight, everything gets pushed up to the wall, a lot of times as a guy on the inside, you have to lift just to make sure you don't kill the guy that you're trying to race. And it does get incredibly frustrating.
And with 3 to go here, Everett is just cruising. He's saying, you can see me at Homestead, Miami, boys. I've had a great round of 8. Going to have 2 wins looking like in his back pocket. He'll be coming to 2 to go. But the battle behind him is actually heating up now as they've caught lap traffic of Nolan Potter. The 48, Hayward almost in the wall. And I think Massetti, he gets into the wall with 2 to go.
I think that's going to be the death rattle for the 88. I don't think he's going to be able to get back to the 48 of Hunter Hayward here to contend for second. I think now Massetti's going to have to just settle for that 3rd position and hope he can hold off James Catrone behind him, because Catrone was running pretty similar lap times to Massetti for a while there.
Now white flag lap. Travis Everett through 1 and 2. What a playoffs it's been for this man. What a season it's been. He's going to look to take some of this momentum here with back-to-back wins before the final race of the season. Travis Everett, your winner. Hunter Hayward, 2nd. Trevor Massetti, 3rd. As it's looking like it's going to be Curtis Preston, Travis Everett, and Ryan Beam. We'll get official word on that here later. But, man, what a race here tonight for Travis Everett. Going to get his 6th win of the season. Going to look for number 7 next week and a championship. I tell you what, it has been fun to watch all night long. Congrats to this man here as he goes to burn it down on the front straightaway. And we'll go right to break here, ladies and gentlemen, as we go to find our top 3 drivers for their interviews tonight. Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Sorry for the issues we're experiencing out here. We're running into some storms out here. You know, internet and storms work not very good, so we're gonna have to skip tonight's post-race interviews and post-race celebrations. We'll bring that next week here at next Tuesday live at 9:20 Eastern. So don't miss out on that. Freaky Fast broadcast. Thank you all for tuning in here tonight. Congrats to Travis.